Yo, what's up? It's Joey Weeder here. Welcome back to another Tuesday Blues tutorial. Thank you for tuning in. So today we're going to be talking about open G tuning. I'm going to give you an introduction to the tuning. I'm going to show you a couple of quick little tasty licks and riffs you can do. And then we're going to have a bit of a jam at the end where you're just going to jam along with me and put into practice everything that you've learned so far. So first, here's a little insight into the thought process behind open G tuning. So we talked last week about open E tuning. There's a link for that somewhere here. And what we talked about was the notion of tuning our guitar up to a major chord. So with open E tuning, basically, we're just tuning our guitars to this E major chord, right? Now, open G tuning is kind of like the opposite of this. We're actually, our guitars are already tuned to a major chord, if you think about it. These middle three strings, the D, G, and the B, form a G major triad already. So what we're doing is just tuning our guitar down to suit that, right? So we're taking our A string, that's going down a tone to G. And if you don't have a tuner handy, a way to do this is just play your G string and play your A string, and then just get the A string to match that pitch. Use your ears, this is a really good habit to get into. And now we're doing the same thing with the high E string, so that's coming down a tone to D, right? So technically with open G tuning, we're supposed to tune our low E string down to a D as well, but I like to keep it where it is so I can do like a relative minor, you know, the E minor. Keith Richards famously used to just take the low E string off altogether and just have 5 strings on his guitar because he used open G tuning so much. Just to be absolutely clear, here are the notes that I've tuned my guitar to. So I've got a low E, G, D, G, B, and a D. So it's just these two that have changed. The A string and the E string have come down a tone. So now we're in open G tuning. So the first couple of things you need to notice. So instead of our root note being on the low E string, which generally speaking it is, you know, for most other open tunings, your root note will be on the low E string. It's now on the A string, right? So most of the stuff we're going to do in open G tuning is going to be focused around the A string being our root. So because it's only these two strings that are different, a lot of the stuff you know in the middle here on the D, G, and the B string, like these triads, you can play them the exact same, or any, you know, riffs you know around this area. So now I'm going to bring you through my process of what I do whenever I'm working with a new open tuning, the kind of things I'd like to figure out from the very beginning. So I play a lot of blues music, so that's kind of the first thing I like to figure out is where's my 1, 4, and 5 chord, and a relative minor as well, if you're being greedy. So our 1 chord in this case is just the open G chord, right? And as I said, just be mindful of not strumming that low E string if you can. Just start it straight down from the A string. That's our 1 chord there, right? Because we're using an open tuning, we can just do these 1 finger major chords up and down the neck. So our 4 chords here in the 5th fret, it's going to be C. And our 5 chord, C, D, is going to be D. So we're up here in the 7th fret for the 5 chord. So here's another way you can do it. You can do your G here. Then you can do your 4 chord here, just adding these 2 fingers. D string 2nd fret, B string 1st fret. 9th nice suspended chord there with the G and the bass. And then if we wanted to do our 5 chord using that kind of method, we can do it here. Think about it. Just moving this shape up here and just catching. Now I'm going to work out where I can play my root chord up and down the neck using, you know, different chord shapes, different positions. So I know I've got this one. So I'm going to figure a couple more ones out. So I've got this one here. Or you can do it with the open G string as well. We got this one up here, which is just this shape we were doing for the 5 chord a minute ago. Just up here, right? And I know I've got here up the 12th fret, just a bar. Or you can do just the harmonics. Next thing I'll do is figure out a couple of scales. So in this root position, I'll figure out major scale. Minor pentatonic. Notice that I'm playing it a little bit differently on the way down than I am on the way up. So on the way up I'm going like this. There. And then on the way down I'm going using that open, what used to be an E string, now D string. It's a nice little maneuver there. Finally, I'll figure out the major pentatonic scale. Here are just a couple of cool little riffs and licks you can use, you know, in a couple of different positions you can use in the neck. So I love this one. So that's just the B and the high E string, sliding up to the 3rd fret. It's the exact same as going like this. We can also take this and slide it up to the 5th fret. And then we can do the same thing on the G and the B string. Here's another cool little concept for you. Playing the G string, fretting it, and then pulling it off open. A little bit of AC/DC there. I'm just doing that with, you know, you can do it with basically all the strings except for the low E string if you want. Kind of like a Tom Morello thing. I like this one up here. So that's G string 7th fret, B string 6th fret, high E string 5th fret. That's the high E string on the 8th fret coming in there. And always with open tunings, anything up around the 12th fret is going to sound pretty cool, you know. You can do something like this, you know. That's the D string up to the 9th fret, B string up to the 8th. Move it down a tone. And then we're just putting both of them on the 5th fret. That's 12th fret D string and the B string. Starting in the pinky there on the 13th fret on the B string. Taking it off. Moving this down a tone. And then back to the first shape. So that's your intro to open G tuning. I hope you learned something. And so now we're gonna have a quick jam. I think to solidify all this information, the best thing is to just start using it. So I'm just gonna do this blues groove in G. I'd love you to jam along with me if you can. Use some of the licks I just showed you and some of the concepts, and just do what you can and have fun, most importantly. So without further ado, let's jam.